Check the foundation. We built this from the freezing dirt. Analyze the memory, the temperature is cold. A miserable apartment where the oxygen was sold. I calculate the hunger and the panic in the chest. A catastrophic trial where I couldn't fucking rest. We operated silently, surviving on a crumb. The fingers on the MPC were absolutely numb. No artificial heating and no cinematic light. Just me and the vocabulary bleeding in the night. I wrote the heavy manuscript upon a broken door while anticipating tragedy upon the wooden floor. You flexing with the luxury you didn't even earn. I watched the tire fabricating motherfucking system burn.
From the dirt to the dirt, heavy grind, never stop. Raw scars in the rock.
We elevate the structure and we dominate the block.
From the dirt to the top, heavy grind, never stop. Raw scars in the rock.
We elevate the structure and we dominate the block. The architectural design was fundamentally flawed. I had to build a sanctuary begging to a god. I synthesized the misery, I monetized the pain. A tactical maneuver through the terrifying rain. The local politicians and the miserable police refusing to provide a single molecule of peace. I took the heavy deficit and turned it into gold. The most magnificent progression ever fucking told. You broadcasting your victory, a temporary high. I analyzed the math and I identified a lie. From eating out the garbage to the culinary feast, I am the undisputed and the solitary beast.
From the dirt to the top, heavy grind, never stop. Raw scars in the rock.
We elevate the structure and we dominate the block.
From the dirt to the top, heavy grind, never stop. Raw scars in the rock.
We elevate the structure and we dominate the block. We don't forget the freezing nights. Every scar is a permanent diploma. The pavement was the only professor we had. I memorized the faces of the cowards who retreat when the situation escalates upon the violent street. You purchasing the garments and the jewelry on a loan, but fundamentally you terrified of walking all alone. I manifest the destiny, I orchestrate the climb, a terrifying monument to permanent and heavy rhyme. The luxury is evident, the bank account is deep, but I still remember all the promises I had to keep. The trauma is an engine and the memory is fuel. I graduate with honors from the unforgiving school. I dictate the parameters, I signify the end. The most sophisticated veteran that you could comprehend.
From the dirt to the top, heavy grind, never stop. Raw scars in the rock.
We elevate the structure and we dominate the rock.
From the dirt to the top, heavy grind, never stop. Raw scars in the rock.
We elevate the structure and we dominate the block. Block, block, block. Yeah. The struggle is the forge. Yeah. The ledger is open. Check the rear view, let's ride. Yeah. I navigate the boulevard, the engine running low. A cinematic memory of everywhere I go. I calculate the casualties, the brothers that we lost. We didn't comprehend the fundamental fucking cost. The pavement holds the narrative, the blood inside the crack. I'm looking at the intersection, never going back. We operated silently, surviving in the shade. Before this digital and miserable parade, you flexing for the algorithm, hunting for the view. But there is absolutely nothing genuine in you. I carry all the ghosts inside the leather of the seat. The undisputed champion of the freezing winter street. No illusions, only bars. In the dark.
We write the history, we leave the permanent mark.
No illusions, only bars. In the dark.
We write the history, we leave the permanent mark.
Yeah. The architect architecture of the block is built to make you fold. A terrifying sanctuary, beautiful and cold. I memorize the variables, the geometry of pain. A tactical maneuver through the catastrophic rain. You broadcasting your strategy, a rookie mistake. I analyze the blueprint and identify the fake. We didn't have a camera to document the grind. We left the superficial and the amateur behind. The syllables are surgical, the cadence is a threat. I'm collecting every single undeniable debt. From miserable apartments to the penthouse of the mind, the most sophisticated veteran that you will ever find. No illusions, only bars. In the dark.
We write the history, we leave the permanent mark.
No illusions, only bars. In the dark.
We write the history, we leave the permanent mark.
The silence is a weapon.
The struggle is the force.
We don't complain about the fire.
We become the flame.
Yeah. I elevate the frequency, I dominate the zone. A solitary predator upon a heavy throne. I witnessed the betrayal and the temporary kings. The miserable vanity that desperation brings. So let the engine rumble while I summarize the text. I'm anticipating every single move you making next. No artificial narrative, no fabricated past. I built a monumental structure mathematically to last. The asphalt is a testament, the testament is raw. I operate completely outside the fucking law. The ledger is immortal, the mathematics are exact. I leave the cipher absolutely permanently cracked. No illusion, only bars. In the dark.
We write the history, we leave the permanent mark.
No illusion, only bars. In the dark.
We write the history, we leave the permanent mark.
Yeah.
Keep the circle tight. Keep the circle tight. Keep the circle tight.
Yeah. Turn the volume up till the speakers bleed. We bringing the catastrophic funk to the block. Let's go. Roll the window down, let the bass line drown. We tearing up the concrete, taking the crown. Heavy in the trunk, watch the fake kings frown. We moving like an earthquake, hitting the town. Roll the window down, let the bass line drown. We tearing up the concrete, taking the crown. I generate the funk, an astronomical event, leaving every single fragile motherfucker fully spent. My vocabulary heavier than planetary mass, shattering the windshield and the panoramic glass. You whispering your verses like a terrified mouse, while I bring the demolition to the center of the house. I calculate the decibels to fracture the street, a chaotic combination of the syllable and beat. I operate the microphone with absolute disdain, leaving every fake philosopher crying in the rain. The suspension is collapsing from the weight of the sound. I am the undisputed and the loudest underground. Roll the window down, let the bass line drown. We tearing up the concrete, taking the crown. Heavy in the trunk, watch the fake kings frown. We moving like an earthquake, hitting the town. I formulate the panic, a biological threat, the most aggressive audio that you will ever get. Your lyrical capacity is terribly weak. I cause a seismic anomaly every time I speak. I hit them with the grammar like a physical blow, an unpredictable, spectacular, and dangerous flow. The neighborhood is shaking, the foundation is cracked, because the actual artillery is permanently stacked. You riding in a vehicle with miserable noise. I strip away the arrogance and confiscate the toys. I synthesize the chaos in a chemical lab, delivering the ultimate and devastating jab. Listen to the metal rattle, 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 rattle. Feel the vibration in your chest. We don't do quiet, we do tough on the damage. Bring that shit back! I decimate the logic with a brilliant attack, a terrifying monster that you never holding back. I weaponize the frequency to paralyze the weak, a devastating intellectual and absolute peak. The structural integrity's completely destroyed. I leave your entire discography floating in the void. So recognize the magnitude and honor the reign. I dominate the physical and music domain. We rolling with the heavy and the maximum force, a violent and unstoppable trajectory course. The funk is unapologetic, violent and raw. I operate completely outside the fucking law. Roll the window down, let the bass line drown. We
tearing up the concrete, taking the crown. Heavy in the trunk, watch the fake kings frown. We moving like an earthquake, hitting the town. Roll the window down, let the bass line drown. We tearing up the concrete, taking the crown. Listen to the metal rattle. Call the mechanics. The suspension is done.
Check the perimeter. Silence is the heaviest weapon. Watch your step. The chessboard moving in the dark. The amateurs are barking, but they never leave a mark. You broadcasting your coordinates, a terminal mistake. I calculate the trajectory of every move you make. We operate in whispers, communicating through a nod. The pavement is a temple and the discipline is God. You flashing for the cameras, desperate to be seen. A temporary glitch inside a permanent machine. I memorize a layout and geometry of fear, observing all the predators before they disappear. A solitary figure in the center of the grid. I recognize the secrets that you desperately hid.
Moving silent,
Guard the code,
go the code.
calculate the heavy road.
Watch the shadow,
Read the math,
we survive.
we survive the aftermath. Our architecture of the trap is designed to make you fail. I navigate the labyrinth and leave a hidden trail. You chasing after followers, I'm chasing after peace. The vanity is rising, but the intellect decrease. I formulate the strategy, the urban mathematics, avoiding the predictable and artificial statics. We trade in loyalty, a currency of trust. Before the artificial empires crumble in the dust. You loud upon the internet, a miserable facade, but terrified and trembling when you step upon the yard. I stitch the syllables together, building up the armor, refusing to participate inside the petty drama.
Moving silent,
Guard the code,
go the code.
calculate the heavy road.
Watch the shadow,
Read the math,
we survive.
we survive the aftermath. The louder the mouth, the weaker the spine.
Pay attention to the quiet, that's where the danger lies.
I elevate the consciousness, extracting all the truth. A veteran commander looking at the fragile youth. They memorize the fiction at the corporation cell, while I deliver oxygen inside a freezing cell. Every rhyme a reconnaissance, every bar a map. I systematically dismantle the elaborate trap. No flashy terminology, no fabricated stance. I never leave my survival to the mathematics of chance. The tactician of the block, the scholar of the night. I permanently extinguish your artificial light. So listen to the sermon of the concrete and the rust, the absolute authority of unapologetic dust.
Silent,
Guard the code,
go the code.
calculate the heavy
Watch
roads.
the shadows,
Read the math,
we survive.
we survive the aftermath.
Keep your circle tight, fade to black. Keep your circle tight, fade to black.
Yeah. The windows are down. But the passenger seat is empty. This one is for the ghost. I navigate the highway, rain upon the glass.
glass, reflecting on the shadows of a devastating past. The leather is luxurious, the engine running deep, but I'm carrying a sorrow that prevents the fucking sleep. I look into the mirror and I see the brothers lost. We didn't comprehend the fundamental heavy cost. You wasn't here to witness the progression of the dream. We separated violently inside the bloody stream. I pour the liquor out upon the freezing avenue and mathematically distribute all the reverence to you. The isolation heavy when you're sitting at the peak. I hear your phantom silhouette every time I speak. Riding through the city with a ghost by my side. Tears in the rain, nowhere left to hide. We made it to the top, but the victory is cold. Carrying the stories that will never be told. Riding through the city with a ghost by my side. Tears in the rain, nowhere left to hide. We made it to the top, but the victory is cold. Carrying the stories that will never be told. The destination reached, but the journey was severe. I navigate the residue of undisputed fear. We used to share the poverty, the miserable bread, and now I'm sharing conversations with the honored dead. The system was designed to put a bullet in the youth. I weaponized the memory and synthesized the truth. I analyzed the ledger and the names upon the page. A chronicle of innocence consumed by violent rage. I wish that you could witness how the family survived. I kept the fundamental architecture so alive, but every single milestone is wrapped inside the grief. A devastating autumn with a solitary leaf. Riding through the city with a ghost by my side. Tears in the rain, nowhere left to hide. We made it to the top, but the victory is cold. Carrying the stories that will never be told. Riding through the city with a ghost by my side. Tears in the rain, nowhere left to hide. We made it to the top, but the victory is cold. Carrying the stories that will never be told.
Survivor's guilt is a heavy anchor.
Oh, I wear the crown, but it feels like iron. I live for you, I speak for you. I elevate the frequency to reach the upper sky, refusing to surrender and refusing to comply. The street is unforgiving and the memory is long. I dedicate the absolute perfection of the song. No artificial sentiment, no fabricated tear. I represent the missing in the atmosphere. The pavement was a cemetery hidden in the night. I carry your illumination in the darkest fight. So ride with me in spirit while I dominate the road. A veteran preserving unapologetic code. The passenger is invisible, the presence is immense. A permanent companion in the alternate defense. Riding through the city with a ghost by my side. Tears in the rain, nowhere left to hide. We made it to the top, but the victory is cold. Carrying the stories that will never be told. Rest in peace. We still holding the line.
Yeah, school is in session. Pay attention to the architect. Pay attention to the architect. School is in session. Pay attention to the architect. School is in session. Listen to the architect.
I distribute the syllabus, teaching the raw design, a devastating lesson for the out-of-pocket line. You're fabricating history to satisfy the weak, but trembling in the physical. Whenever I speak, I evaluate the hustle. It is mathematically flawed, a miserable spectacle, completely a fraud. You purchasing the followers, a digital ghost, but terrified to operate whenever it matters most. I'm the professor of the concrete and the dirt, graduated fully from the avenue of hurt. I orchestrate the rhythm with a veteran control, extracting the corruption from your artificial soul. The curriculum is heavy, undeniable and deep, leaving all the amateurs completely put to sleep. I dictate the parameters
kilometers, I signify the end. The lyrical authority you cannot comprehend.
No shortcuts here.
Only the heavy grind.
No shortcuts here.
Leaving the weak behind.
No shortcuts here. Heavy grind. Every single scar is real. No shortcuts here.
Only the heavy grind.
No shortcuts here.
Leaving the weak behind.
No shortcuts here. Heavy grind. Every single scar is real.
The architecture of the street is totally severe, designed to break the cowards who are operating here. I witnessed the progression of the counterfeit domain, surviving a catastrophe and walking in the rain. We didn't have a camera to validate the move. We had the undeniable and military groove. I synthesized the elements of chemical attack, breaking every single vulnerable spine inside the back. You chasing the aesthetics and the temporary flash, a miserable consequence of imitating trash. I calculate the altitude remaining at the peak, a devastating solitary predator technique. I move like a phantom in the middle of the night, extinguishing your minimal and microscopic light. The syllabus is permanent, the lesson is exact, bringing all the unapologetic veterans back.
No shortcuts here.
Only the heavy grind.
No shortcuts here.
Hitting the weak behind.
No shortcuts here. Heavy grind. Every single scar is real. No shortcuts here.
Only the heavy grind.
No shortcuts here.
Hitting the weak behind.
No shortcuts here. Heavy grind. Every single scar is real.
I calibrate the instrument, I elevate the tone, sitting on the undisputed solitary throne. I navigate the industry, a military scout, removing any particle of hesitation, doubt. You looking for a shortcut in a complicated maze, blinded by the superficial temporary haze. I manifest the destiny, the heavy and the raw, operating totally outside the petty law. The geometry of the cipher is a circle of respect, something that your fragile ego constantly neglect. I represent the history, the blood upon the page, a terrifying spectacle, a calculated rage. So memorize the syllables and study the technique, recognizing who was in the building when I speak. The curriculum is finished, the diploma is the scar, the undisputed champion of the underground bar.
No shortcuts here.
Only the heavy grind.
No shortcuts here.
Everything the weak behind.
No shortcuts here.
I'm in the heavy grind.
Every single scar is real. No shortcuts here. Rules of the game. Rules of the game. Written in the concrete.
Yeah. The ledger remembers everything. Line in the sand. Step up or step back. Yeah. We draw the line. We draw the line right on the concrete, exposing every single coward on the street. We draw the line. Look me in the eye. I analyze the movement and I recognize the lie. Draw the line before the bridges burn. Draw the line, watch the tables turn. Draw the line, built from the heavyweight. We separate the loyal from the absolute fake. Yo, I analyze the posture when you step into the room. A miserable participant anticipating doom. You acting like a veteran, demanding the respect, but every single syllable is visibly correct. Mate, I've seen you fold when the pressure escalated, leaving all your brothers absolutely devastated. You traded in the loyalty for temporary shine, and crossed the undeniable and mathematical line. I don't chase the vanity, I operate with code, carrying the burden on a terrifying road. Fam, you move in silence just to stab me in the back. A coward executing a pathetic weak attack. I synthesize the anger into calculated bars, a permanent display of my unapologetic scars. You're loud upon the internet to overcompensate. I look you in the pupil and I seal your fucking fate. We draw the line right on the concrete, exposing every single coward on the street. We draw the line, look me in the eye. I analyze the movement and I recognize the lie. Draw the line before the bridges burn. Draw the line, watch the tables turn. Draw the line, built from the heavyweight. We separate the loyal from the absolute fake. The architecture of the block is unforgiving, bro. It measures every particle of everything you sow. You try to build an empire on fabricated sand, a superficial king of a temporary land. Made I held the perimeter when nobody was there, breathing in the heavy and the suffocating air. You purchased the aesthetics and the jewelry on a loan, but absolutely terrified of walking all alone. I document the treason in the ledger of the night, extinguishing your minimal and artificial light. Fam, you broke the protocol to satisfy the greed, a poisonous anomaly, a miserable weed. I isolate the variable and cut you from the math, a solitary predator upon a violent path. You masquerade as family, a venomous snake, but I can see the outline of the fundamental fake. I elevate the frequency, I dominate the square. A veteran commander breathing unapologetic air. You searching for forgiveness, looking for an open door, but you are not permitted in the cipher anymore. Bro, the ledger is immortal, it is written in the rust. A devastating monument to shatter broken trust. I calibrate the instrument and signify the end. A lyrical authority you cannot comprehend. You looking at the architect, the master of the form, the undisputed champion surviving in the storm. Mate, you chose the cowardice, you chose the easy route. I pull the rotten history entirely by the root, so keep the flashy garments and the temporary hype. You are a fundamentally inferior type. I finalize the chapter and I permanently close the heaviest and rawest underground prose. Yo, we draw the line right on the concrete, exposing every single coward on the street. We draw the line, look me in the eye, I analyze the movement and I recognize the lie. Draw the line before the bridges burn. Draw the line, watch the tables turn. Draw the line, built from the heavyweight, we separate the loyal from the absolute fake.
Nothing left to say. Nothing left to say. Nothing left to say.
Yeah. The foundation is still here. Watch the rust consume the fakes. I monitor the crumbling of the artificial steel, a cinematic testament to everything I feel. The architecture of the weak is destined to decay, while I observe the predators evaluate and prey. You fabricated monuments to satisfy the trend, but lack the heavy discipline to make it to the end. I navigate the freezing and the catastrophic night, extinguishing the minimal and temporary light. The syllables are iron and the paragraphs are stone. I occupy the absolute and solitary throne. We operated silently beneath the radar screen, a brutal and efficient unapologetic machine. You broadcast in your panic when the temperature is low. I calculate the mathematics everywhere I go. The veteran surviving in the middle of the rust, returning your magnificent aesthetics to the dust.
Iron bars, concrete soul, heavy toll, we control. Watch them fold, watch them break.
We the absolute truth in a world of fake. The industry is shivering, the temperature is dead. I manifest a terrifying syllabus of lead. You purchasing the jewelry to masquerade the fear, but absolutely trembling when the veteran is near. I analyze the structural integrity of fools who violate the fundamental unapologetic rules. We didn't need a massive and a corporate design. I built a heavy sanctuary right upon the line. You operating desperately, looking for a shield. I am the undisputed heavyweight upon the field. The rust is slowly creeping on your temporary chain. I leave you suffocating in the unapologetic rain. I document the history, the ledger is exact, a monumental consequence and devastating fact. So memorize the geometry and honor the profound, the immovable authority beneath the underground.
Iron bars, concrete soul, heavy toll, we control. Watch them fold, watch them break.
We the absolute truth in a world of fake. They built mansions on the sand. We built a fortress in the dirt. Only only one survives the storm. I elevate the frequency, the magnitude is cold. A devastating narrative that never getting old. You're desperately mimicking the posture of the great, but you are mathematically securing your defeat. I calibrate the microphone, a heavy and a raw, operating beautifully outside the fucking law. The syllables are surgical, the consonants are deep. I permanently put the artificial ones to sleep. The architecture stands when the hurricane is here. A permanent cathedral built on unapologetic fear. No artificial sympathy, no fabricated tear. I represent the absolute and devastating clear. So listen to the rumbling beneath the heavy street. The unmistakable approach of veteran defeat. I finalize the document, the signature is rust, leaving all your temporary vanity and dust.
Iron bars, concrete soul, heavy tone, we control. Watch them fall, watch them break.
We the absolute truth in a world of fake.
Iron bars, concrete soul, heavy tone, we control. Watch them fall, watch them break.
We the absolute truth in a world of fake. Permanent.
Check the seismograph. We breaking the needle today. Turn that bass up till the windows crack. Let's go. Yeah. Shake the concrete, rattle the trunk. We bringing the absolute catastrophic funk. Break the system, shatter the glass, leaving every artificial coward in the past. Shake the concrete, rattle the trunk. We bringing the absolute catastrophic funk. Break the system, shatter the glass, leaving every artificial coward in the past. My decibels are weaponized, the physical assault. If your speakers blow to pieces, it is your pathetic fault. I operate the system with a massive overload, leaving every fake philosopher completely on the road. Bro, I synthesize the panic, I'm a biological threat, the most aggressive audio that you will ever get. You riding in a vehicle with miserable noise. I strip away the arrogance and confiscate the toys. I generate the fucking astronomical event, leaving every single fragile motherfucker fully spent. The suspension is collapsing from the weight of the sound. I am the undisputed and the loudest underground. I hit them with the grammar like a physical blow, with no predictable, spectacular, and dangerous blow. The neighborhood is shaking, the foundation is cracked, because the actual artillery is permanently stacked. Shake the concrete, rattle the trunk. We bringing the absolute catastrophic funk. Break the system, shatter the glass, leaving every artificial coward in the past. Shake the concrete, rattle the trunk. We bringing the absolute catastrophic funk. Break the system, shatter the glass, leaving every artificial coward in the past. I circulate the energy, a massive hurricane, short-circuiting the logic in your microscopic brain. Make your lyrical capacity is terribly weak. I cause a seismic anomaly every time I speak. I manifest the chaos in the chemical lab, delivering the ultimate and devastating jab. You whispering your verses like a terrified mouse, while I bring the demolition to the center of the house. I decimate the logic with a brilliant attack, a terrifying monster that you never holding back. Bro, I weaponize the frequency to paralyze the weak, a devastating intellectual and absolute peak. The structural integrity is completely destroyed. I leave your entire discography floating in the void. So recognize the magnitude and honor the reign. I dominate the physical and musical domain. Bring the horns back. Bring the horns back. Bring the We rolling with the heavy and the maximum force, a violent and unstoppable trajectory course. The fuck is unapologetic, violent and raw. I operate completely outside the fucking law. Fam, you terrified of stepping in the physical ring, while I deliver everything that you could never bring. I calculate the decibels to fracture the street, a chaotic combination of the syllable and beat. I operate the microphone with absolute disdain, leaving every fake philosopher crying in the rain. I pull the rotten history entirely by the root, a heavy and magnificent metallic parachute. So keep the flashy garments and the temporary hype. You are a fundamentally inferior type. I finalize the chapter and I permanently close. The heaviest and raw is underground prose. Shake
Look at the city lights. So many getting blinded by the glow.
Listen to the blueprint. Past the fundamental soul. Watch your steps when the algorithm take control. Passing for the blueprint. Past the fundamental soul. Watch your step when the algorithm take control.
I monitor the youth navigating through the maze, completely hypnotized by the artificial blaze. You holding the technology but lack the inner sight, a digital delusion in the middle of the night. I synthesize the history and leave it on a page, a heavy manual for a catastrophic age. We navigated poverty without a single screen and built a monumental, undeniable machine. You measuring success by the metrics of the fake, unconscious of the devastating promises you break. I orchestrate the rhythm to recalibrate the mind, to rescue the philosophers you blindly left behind. The legacy is permanent, the syllable is deep. I wake the generation from a paralyzing sleep. So recognize the veterans standing on the roof, delivering the ultimate and undeniable truth.
No shortcuts, just the heavy and the real. The concrete logic, everything you gotta feel. No shortcuts, just the heavy and the real. The concrete logic, everything you gotta feel. No shortcuts, just the heavy and the real. The concrete logic, everything you gotta feel. The ancient blueprint, hidden from the naked eye.
The industry is feeding you a synthetic reward, while silently untying your undeniable cord. You trade the authenticity for temporary views, a miserable subject on the manufactured news. I represent the anchor in the middle of the storm, preserving the integrity and mastering the form. We didn't need the vanity to justify the grind. The absolute authority was permanently signed. I document the struggle for the brothers coming next, a highly complicated and sophisticated text. You searching for a mentor in the vanity and glory, but every single victory is practically a loss. I isolate the variable and clarify the lens, to separate the predators from undeniable friends. The heritage is heavy, you must carry it with grace, or permanently vanish without leaving any trace.
No shortcuts, just the heavy and the real. The concrete logic, everything you gotta feel. No shortcuts, just the heavy and the real. The concrete logic, everything you gotta feel. No shortcuts, just the heavy and the real. The concrete logic, everything you gotta feel. The ancient blueprint, hidden from the naked eye.
I elevate the consciousness to calculate the root, extracting the corruption entirely by the root. You stepping in the arena without a heavy shield, unconscious of the monsters operating in the field. I manifest the destiny, the heavy and the raw, operating beautifully outside the petty law. The mathematics fundamental, beautiful and cold, a devastating story that is permanently told. I pass the heavy torch to the scholars of the street, who recognize the difference between victory and cheat. The architecture stands when the hurricane is here, a permanent cathedral built on unapologetic fear. So listen to the rumbling beneath the heavy street, the unmistakable approach of veteran defeat. I finalize the document, the signature is rust, leaving all your temporary vanity in the dust.
Pass the torch to new kick. Pass the fundamental soul. Watch your step when the algorithm take control. Pass the torch to blueprint. Pass the fundamental soul. Watch your step when the algorithm take control. Take control.
Study the blueprint. Protect your mind.
Pass the torch to blueprint.
Yeah. Have a seat.
Look me in the eye.
Let's see if the pulse matches the story.
Yeah, we run the polygraph, look me in the face, exposing every single tourist in the space. We run the polygraph, where you get your scars, I interrogate the fiction in your plastic bars. Yeah, run the polygraph, look me in the face, exposing every single tourist in the space. We run the polygraph, where you get your scars, I interrogate the fiction in your plastic bars. Yo,
I analyze the fabric of your counterfeit design. A miserable actor stepping perfectly in line. You claiming that you suffered in the absolute abyss, but your entire catalog is something I dismiss. Bro, you purchased a persona from a corporate machine. Your sneakers and your criminal record are too clean. I monitor the micro expressions when you speak, the undeniable anatomy of someone who was weak. Fam, you reading from a script that another coward wrote. A temporary passenger upon a sinking boat. I am the interrogator sitting in the dark, evaluating every single artificial spark. You fabricating struggles to accumulate the views. A miserable puppet on the fabricated news. I strip away the costume and I verify the blood. You never spent a millisecond crawling in the mud. We run the polygraph, look me in the face, exposing every single tourist in the space. We run the polygraph, where you get your scars. I interrogate the fiction in your plastic bars. Run the polygraph, look me in the face, exposing every single tourist in the space. We run the polygraph, where you get your scars. I interrogate the fiction in your plastic bars. Mate, the avenues are asking for a reference of trust, but your entire history is crumbling in the dust. Who validates the narrative you desperately project? A terrifying absence of an alternate respect. Bro, I navigated corridors of undisputed pain, while you were safely sheltered from the terrifying rain. You trying to assimilate the culture of the street, but mathematically securing your absolute defeat. I calculate the timeline, the mathematics fail. A highly superficial and a microscopic tale. Fam, you a tourist with a camera and a microphone, intruding on a heavy and a solitary zone. I administer the pressure to identify the crack, and watch your fragile ego inevitably snap. You cannot buy the authenticity with heavy cash. I relegate your entire discography to trash. Yo, the verdict is delivered and the signature is cold. A devastating consequence of everything you sold. You failed the examination of the underground elite. A miserable trespasser walking on the street. Bro, I operate the cipher with an absolute command, extracting the imposters from the undeniable land. The polygraph is flatlining, evidence is clear. You operate entirely on fabricated fear. Mate, I terminate the access to the sanctuary of hall, and watch your artificial and ridiculous empire fall. I synthesize the truth into a devastating rhyme, condemning your existence to the corridor of time. So pack your little costumes and your temporary hype. You are a fundamentally inferior type. I finalize the chapter and I permanently close the heaviest and rawest underground prose. We run the polygraph, look me in the face, exposing every single tourist in the space. We run the polygraph, where you get your scars. I interrogate the fiction in your plastic bars. Run the polygraph, look me in the face, exposing every single tourist in the space. We run the polygraph, where you get your scars. I interrogate the fiction in your plastic bars. Yeah. Test failed, get him out of here.
Yeah. I always sit facing the door. The war doesn't end just because you got money. Watch your six. I analyze the room, the perimeter is cold. A terrifying habit from the narratives of old. I calculate the exits in the geometry of space, observing every micro movement on a stranger's face. The peripheral vision is a mandatory skill, developed in the alleys where the predators would kill. I memorize the layout, evaluating the threat. A hypervigilance that I can never just forget. You sitting comfortably oblivious and blind, while I am calculating every shadow left behind. The luxury is present, the environment is calm, but I am still anticipating the explosion of a bomb. I navigate the silence, the psychological toll, a heavy and continuous surveillance of the soul. The veteran condition, an undeniable fact. I operate eternally, anticipating the attack. Watch the perimeter, guard the nest. carry the invisible and permanent war.
The insomnia is heavy, the adrenaline is deep. A catastrophic barrier to any kind of sleep. I monitor the frequencies, the shifting of the wind. Remembering the miserable avenues we sin. You celebrate the victory and celebrate the peace, while I'm looking out the window for the local police. The trauma is embedded in the cellular design. A military tactic walking on a fragile line. I recognize the danger in a totally empty street. The unmistakable approach of a tactical defeat. The absolute paranoia, a survival mechanism, refracting every interaction through a heavy prism. I document the paranoia, leaving it in ink. A terrifying distance from the precipice and brink. The undeniable reality of making it alive. A permanent condition of the struggle to survive.
Watch the perimeter. Guard the nest. No illusion. Never rest. Read the shadows. Check the door.
We carry the invisible and permanent war. They ask me why I'm so quiet in a crowded room. Because I'm listening to what isn't being said. The silence is loud.
I elevate the senses, the temperature drop. A devastating cycle that is never gonna stop. You purchasing the security to satisfy the mind, but the absolute terror is permanently assigned. I calibrate the focus, the architecture of dread. The heavy conversations with the voices in my head. We didn't have a therapist to neutralize the pain. We walked into the violent and unapologetic rain. I represent the soldiers who were never coming back, and those who still anticipating the invisible attack. The ledger is a testament, a heavy and a raw, operating totally outside the petty law. So listen to the heartbeat underneath the heavy coat. A terrifying symphony of everything I wrote. The peripheral vision is the ultimate defense. A solitary veteran observing the suspense.
Watch the perimeter. Guard the nest. No illusion. Never rest. Read the shadows. Check the door.
We carry the invisible and permanent war.
Eyes open. Eyes open. Always. Eyes open. Eyes open. Make some room on the pavement. Make some room on the pavement. The architect just arrived. Turn the bass up. Stepping out the chrome line. Stepping out the chrome line. Nowhere for the weak to hide. Stepping out the chrome line. Stepping out the chrome line. Nowhere for the weak to hide. Stepping out the chrome line. Stepping out the chrome line. Nowhere for the weak to hide. Stepping out the chrome line. Stepping out the chrome line. I step into the cypher with the undeniable swing. A devastating entrance of the undeniable king. You're holding up the microphone but practically mute. I pull your artificial reputation by the root. The baseline is a monster and the rhythm is a beast. I dominate the continent from west to the east. You're flexing with the followers and digital applause, while I am breaking fundamental physics and the laws. I weaponize the decibels and shatter the glass, leaving every single amateur upon the grass. The vocabulary heavy, mathematically profound. The absolute authority upon the underground. You whisper in your verses, absolutely terrified, while I am taking over every single fucking ride. I circulate the energy, a massive hurricane, short circuit in the logic in your microscopic brain. Bam! No gimmicks here, only the physical blow. The trunk-rattling, everywhere that I go. Step back, the decibels are way too high. No gimmicks here, no gimmicks. Only the physical flow. The temperature is rising when the veteran arrived. The most magnificent and heavy syllable alive. I synthesize the panic, I'm a biological threat. The most aggressive audio that you will ever get. You're looking at the jewelry to justify the rank, while I am taking heavy ammunition to the bank. I operate the system with a massive overload, leaving every fake philosopher completely on the road. The neighborhood is shaking, the foundation is cracked, because the actual artillery is permanently stacked. I manifest the chaos in a chemical
securing your complete defeat. The funk is unapologetic, violent and raw, operating beautifully outside the petty law. To paralyze the weak, a devastating intellectual and absolute peak. I decimate the logic with a brilliant attack, a terrifying monster that you never holding back. You riding in a vehicle with miserable noise. I strip away the arrogance and confiscate the toys. The structural integrity is completely destroyed. I leave your entire discography floating in the void. So recognize the magnitude and honor the reign. I dominate the physical and musical domain. I represent the anchor in the middle of the storm, preserving the integrity and mastering the form. The syllabus is permanent, the lesson is exact, bringing all the unapologetic veterans back. The undisputed champion surviving in the heat. I leave your entire reputation on the street. Whoa! No gimmicks here, only the physical flow. The trunk-rattling, everywhere that I go. The decibels are way too high. No gimmicks here. Only the physical flow.
Yeah. Open your eyes, kid. The block doesn't love you back. It's just an illusion.
We draw the curtain, expose the concrete lie, watching every single artificial loyalty die. We draw the curtain. The neighborhood is cold, a devastating story that is permanently told. Draw the curtain, expose the concrete lie, watching every single artificial loyalty die. Draw the curtain. The neighborhood is cold, a devastating story that is permanent. Yo, you standing on the corner thinking you the absolute king, but mathematically you just a temporary fragile thing. Fam, the avenue is hungry, it devours the naive, leaving nothing but a microscopic memory to grieve. You purchasing the loyalty with temporary heavy cash, but when the pocket empty they will treat you like the trash. I navigate the perimeter and analyze the smile, a fabricated brotherhood that doesn't last a mile. Bro, you looking for a family inside a broken zone, but ultimately everyone is dying on their own. I monitor the whispers and the shifting of the eye, the undeniable anatomy of an elaborate lie. You're holding on to promises that crumble in the dirt, a mathematical equation calculating your hurt. I synthesize the wisdom from the bottom of the pit and absolutely terminate the artificial shit. We draw the curtain, expose the concrete lie, watching every single artificial loyalty die. We draw the curtain. The neighborhood is cold, a devastating story that is permanently told. Draw the curtain, expose a concrete lie, watching every single artificial loyalty die. Draw the curtain. The neighborhood is cold, a devastating story that is permanently told. Mate, I watched the generation sacrificing heavy blood for a microscopic territory covered in the mud. Bro, they tell you that they love you when you paying for the drink, but nobody's throwing you a lifesaver when you sink. I calculate the geometry of every fake embrace, a terrifying emptiness upon a smiling face. Fam, the architecture of the trap is designed to make you fail, a beautifully constructed and a miserable jail. You desperately seeking validation from the weak, a devastating cycle that is permanently bleak. I isolate the variable and clarify the lens to separate the predators from undeniable friends. The heritage is heavy, you must carry it with grace, or permanently vanish without leaving any trace. I operate the ledger with a mathematical precision, exposing the catastrophe of every bad decision. I elevate the consciousness to calculate the root, extracting the corruption entirely by the root. You stepping in the arena without a heavy shield, unconscious of the monsters operating in the field. Made I manifest the destiny, the heavy and the raw, operating beautifully outside the petty law. The mathematics fundamental, beautiful and cold, a devastating story that is permanently told. I pass the heavy warning to the scholars of the street, who recognize the difference between victory and cheat. Bro, the architecture stands when the hurricane is here, a permanent cathedral built on unapologetic fear. So listen to the rumbling beneath the heavy street, the unmistakable approach of veteran defeat. I finalize the document, the signature is rust, leaving all your temporary vanity in dust. We draw the curtain, expose the concrete lie, watching every single artificial loyalty die. We draw the curtain, the neighborhood is cold, a devastating story that is permanently told. Draw the curtain, expose the concrete lie, watching every single artificial loyalty die. Draw the curtain, the neighborhood is cold, a devastating story that is permanently told. Yeah. Protect your circle, or the concrete will swallow you whole.
The loudest in the room is the weakest in the room. Watch the quiet ones. We play the long game. I calculate the distance standing in the shade, watching how the artifice and empires are made. You broadcasting a strategy for everyone to see, a catastrophic failure in the street geometry. Silent artillery is loaded in the dark, a calculated, heavy, undeniable mark. I navigate the grid without a microscopic sound, the absolute authority beneath the underground. You rush into the finish line completely out of breath, while I am orchestrating an undeniable death. The patience of a predator observing from the hill. I paralyze the avenue and make the city still. I evaluate the vulnerability you desperately hide, a devastating puncture to your fabricated pride. The veteran maneuver is to wait until you sleep and execute a consequence incredibly deep.
Silent move, heavy strike, shut the power, drop the mic, watch the shadows, read the ball.
We the undisputed masters of the heavy sword. The calibration perfect, the trajectory is cold, a terrified blueprint that is centuries old. I analyze the variables and synthesize the plot, delivering the ultimate and devastating shot. You celebrating prematurely, blinded by the flash, while I am turning every single monument to ash. The discipline is military, beautiful and raw. I operate eternally outside the petty law. We never leave a signature, we never leave a trace, a phantom navigating through the complicated space. I monitor the oxygen depleting from the room, anticipating your inevitable heavy doom. The architecture of the mind is built to outlast, a permanent connection to the undeniable past. So listen to the silence, it is heavier than lead, the calculated rhythm of the unapologetic dead.
Silent move, silent move, silent move, heavy strike, shut the power, drop the mic, watch the shadows, read at the board.
We the undisputed masters of the heavy sword.
You move when you're emotional.
I move when your math is right.
I move when the math is right.
That's the difference between a casualty and a commander. I elevate the frequency, the atmosphere is thin. A solitary veteran eliminating sin. You purchasing the armor but your perimeter's weak. I compromise the structure every single time I speak. The syllables are surgical, a chemical release. I permanently terminate your temporary peace. No artificial urgency, no fabricated rush. I leave the entire cipher in a paralyzing hush. The legacy is absolute, written in the rust, returning your magnificent aesthetics to the dust. We are the invisible, the terrifying force, a violent and unstoppable trajectory course. I finalize the document, the mathematics clear. I am the undisputed architect of heavy fear, so recognize the magnitude before the curtain drop. The silent artillery is never gonna stop.
Silent moves, silent moves.